Sagittarius, greetings and salutations, my friends. Today we're going to hop right on into your 5-card movie star spread. A lot of choices, a lot of difficult choices at that. So you are perfectly aware that you aren't balancing out your resources quite right. Now, this to me doesn't feel like a financial issue, like you're struggling to make ends meet. That could be maybe for a few of you, but it's more about your other resources. It's kind of like so when it comes to resources, we talk about health, we talk about wealth, and we talk about time management. Okay, it kind of feels to me like you're stuck in this energy where you aren't utilizing your time in the best way. And because of that, your health is suffering. Now, that could be your mental health, that could be your spiritual health, that could actually be your physical health, or maybe it's not even noticeable because it's just a little bit on each, right? So you know that things have been out of balance for a while. You're aware of it. And now you're making all of the tough decisions that you have to make to get yourself back on track. And that's a very good thing. Like you've accepted it. You're not denying that you haven't been managing your resources the best. So now you're cutting back on the things that are wasting your time. Maybe you're cutting back on some like financial things. Maybe you were spending money frivolously or maybe you weren't like really taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. But now you're making those difficult choices to get everything back on track. And you're finding happiness in the discipline that it takes to start to balance out these energies. It feels to me like you kind of lost sight of your goals, of where it is you wanted to go, and you kind of wound up in like this wandering sense. And without structure, everything kind of fell to the wayside for a short period of time. There was a lack of expansion. And it's still going to feel like a lack of expansion for a while because ultimately what you're doing is you're lingering at the end of something. You see, a chapter in your life is closed and there were lessons to be learned. So this could be this whole slowing down and having everything fall apart might have been a way for you to clear your plate, you know, maybe you were doing too much. Maybe things just didn't work out. Maybe whatever the case might be, your energy was not headed in the right direction. Although you may have felt like it was because you were getting a lot of things done. You weren't, you were moving forward, but perhaps you were moving forward in the wrong direction. So this was a time for you to regroup, be stagnant, sit in the void, cut out all of those excess things that were distracting you from seeing what it was that you really needed to do. And now that you have a clear plate, like you took all your responsibilities and you put them aside. But you put all of your responsibilities aside. You didn't maintain some of the things that needed to be taken care of. But now you freed up your time to be able to decide what is most important and what to focus on first. You're putting things, you're reprioritizing your life. So there was a pause and there was a void. And Sagittarius, it probably came with a small amount of depression, right? It probably did. Let's be real. There was probably a good amount of stagnancy that you were stuck in, a void, if you will. And it was hard to deal with. A group dynamic. Yeah. This isn't it could be a relationship, like a personal relationship, like a friend, a family member, or maybe even a romantic partner. But I kind of get because the Hierophant is here, and this is about a group. This is about a set of agreed upon values or rules. So I often see the Hierophant as an institution, right? You weren't in alignment with your values because you were too focused on fitting into a particular group. And you're recognizing now that there's a certain level of toxicity tied to this particular group. So you had to leave the group. But all of your goals and ambitions were tied to this group. So as you stepped away, as you gave yourself that distance, you could still be involved with this group and have emotional distance. There was this, well, who am I? And that's the beautiful part about this energy. Well, you're still working on it a little bit. But the beautiful part about this energy of being in the void and actually just like taking a step back is you took the time for yourself that was needed that you didn't have before, and you really started to focus on your values. Now there's still some healing that needs to happen. You're still recognizing these the wounds may not be your fault, but the responsibility for healing it is. And you're just now gaining a perspective on what these injuries and wounds were. So now that you've identified, you've diagnosed the problem, now you're going to start putting your resources into fixing these problems. So what I get from this Sagittarius is you had a bad situation. And you tried and you tried and you tried to fix this situation with the group until you finally realized, I cannot fix this whole group of people. I just have to take care of me. When you separated yourself from this person or this group of people, you recognized a certain amount of your identity was tied up into this dynamic, and you were just like, ugh. So you let everything, you just had to let everything go. And time passed, and time passed, and time passed, and you didn't start pulling back in those responsibilities. Now that you've figured out all of what went wrong, now that you've defined what had happened, right? So it's not about, ooh, why did this happen to me? It's more about, why did this happen for me, and what can I do to learn my lessons, get off this karmic wheel, not be stuck in a situation like this, and move forward, right? So, yeah, you're coming out of a rough time, and you're still lingering at the ending because you're still tied to some of these toxic energies, but you're at the point of acceptance, right? The worst is over. You're at the point of acceptance, and you're learning how to heal. This reading isn't the magic that's going to make everything better. You still have to take those steps to define your own values, prioritize what is most important, and start taking the steps to get everything back on track in a way that aligns with who you are, not with this group. And that's going to take a little bit of time. It just is. So I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next time.